It's my great honor and privilege to introduce my dear friend, Dianne Stewart Hamlin. Dianne has a special place in my heart. She's my, I don't know, I won't tell you. We took so many classes together. We went through crack training together. So it's always that connection that if you take classes, you know what it is. And if you take a prac class together, oh, you know what it is. Yes. I can give you all the facts about Dianne. I don't even have her bio, but I want to tell you what she is, not what she does. She's a spiritual counselor. So she's being love, and she's being a support to other men and women. She's a lawyer, and she's also supporting people in crisis. She's a mother, so she loves and takes care of her beautiful daughters. She's a good girlfriend, right? And Dianne is an amazing, amazing woman who challenges herself every day by going back to her center and doing all the best to live from her heart and from that consciousness of who she really is, from that divinity. Dianne lives from a very high standard, and she challenges herself, and that's why I love her talks and her wisdom and her sharing, because she challenges me, and I know that she has all the right to challenge me because she challenges herself. So please help me welcome my dear friend, Dianne Stewart Hamlin.
Good morning. Wow. So I'm really happy to be here. And thank you, Irina. We were also prayer partners.
Yeah.
And every time that I come here, I get an opportunity to sort of reminisce about that time in our lives, because there was a lot going on for us. And I remember, those who are local will understand that I used to leave work in Frederick to try to get here on time for class. And so a lot of our prayers were done while I was in the car, and we would say, and she would say, okay, I'll close my eyes and you pray eyes open, because I'd be driving down through 70 and around the Beltway to get here on time. And we discussed a lot of our projects together that way. But the other thing that I was thinking about today, driving in with my family, is in talking with Nicole, who is my sister and friend, was when I first moved to Washington. And I was so ready to really be steeped in teachings. I'd already been going to Agape International Spiritual Center in LA, and I got here and I was looking for the place to be steeped. And this was the only show in town. And I drove from probably Tunlaw in DC up Wisconsin all the way, because I didn't know another way, all the way around the Beltway to come to service, because I didn't know I could go over the chain bridge or anything like that. So I just kind of came the only way I knew. And I just, my heart fills up when I get ready to exit onto 50, because I remember coming and Miss Thelma was here, and I remember taking classes with Duke, and just all of the journey, the ministers, and just the love that I got here. And the reason why I came was about these teachings. The reason why I drove 45 minutes or an hour and a half from Frederick to get here was about these teachings. It was about the truth. It was about being steeped in what is real and not being distracted by the world around me. And I had this thing that was calling me, Spirit was calling me and saying, come on, it's time. And so in my yes, I had to show up in my life in the most real manner that I could. And that meant I did whatever I had to do to get to the place where I could learn the things that were necessary for my own spiritual unfoldment. And this was one of the places where I called home for a long time. So I want to say thank you to everyone here that's been a part of that journey, how much I love you and your wonderful husband, how much I love everyone here. I'm very grateful and always honored and humbled to come here and serve. So my topic, I Can Change the World, is also activating boundless spiritual potential. And that's what we're talking about today in terms of community. because this month's theme is about community. It's about what is ours to do in our community, and part of that is what is ours to do in our lives as individual expressions of the Most High. Because each one of us, though one, are individualized expressions of the Most High, and each one of us has an actual obligation to develop our gifts, our talents, and our entire potential while we are in this incarnation, so that we do our part to change the world. And that's what life is really about. We are all here for this. And we've all said yes to it. Whether we have said it yes consciously or we've said it subconsciously, we've said yes to it. That is why we're here at this point in time. This point in time when we are going through what appears to be an upheaval, which is really the unfolding of a new level of human consciousness. That is what we are creating now, and each one of us has an obligation to get up, stand up, and unleash our own potential. And so there's a way for that, because there's a practice. We have many practices. We have spiritual practices, and many of us will get into what I call it's like a spiritual coma, where we're sort of walking through the world doing these things that we do, these spiritual practices, so we get up on an automatic and we pray and we meditate and we give thanks and we go into our day. But what's happening is that we're not consciously involved or engaged in the process of what it is that we're here to do. We're not standing up and asking the question, what is mine to do? Why am I here today? Show me, Divine Spirit, unleash for me what is mine. Point my attention to the right place. What is within me that I'm here to release? We have to call it forth. So one of the things that we have to learn to do really is to invite disturbance into our lives. We need to invite disturbance and get beyond what is comfortable and get beyond the entire comfort zone of being and really step into what is mine to do. And part of that is going beyond the status quo. You cannot sit in the same way and expect growth to happen. You have to till the soil. You have to water the plants. You have to pay attention. And you have to give attention to the thing that is yours to do. So we have to invite disturbance. We have to confront the fear. We have to confront the thing in us that has us anxious about change. Why am I afraid? Why am I afraid to change? Why would I be afraid to move across country? Why am I afraid to invite others into my life? Why am I afraid to make a change? And confront the fear and get an understanding of what it is that has you so, that feels threatened within you, because that's what fear is, right? There's this idea that something within me is threatened, something within me is afraid that this change is going to affect me in a very real and tangible way. And if that is actually the case, what am I going to do? How am I going to survive? And we forget our history. In our history, we've survived all of our very worst days. We've survived every single worst, bad moment there ever was, and we're still standing, we're still alive, we're still breathing, we're still present. So we know that the thing that we're afraid of is most definitely something that we can survive. The question is, are we willing to now take the challenge and answer the thing that's within us to thrive, grow, and prosper? Because life is more than survival. Being here in a human incarnation is more than survival. Even the grass tries to thrive. You put concrete over grass, it finds a way to grow through a crack. You know, everything that is alive is trying to thrive, grow, and prosper. So part of our role in this new human evolution is for us to really invite disturbance. And for many of us, that's difficult. For me, I know personally, I get very comfortable. I get comfortable in waking up, praying, meditate. I run, I get the kids up, I go to school, I go to drop them off, I go to work, I come home. And I could do that day after day after day, week after week after week, and at the end of the day, if they are fed and in bed, I'm like, woo, that was success. But there's more for my life than just to be their care provider. That's part of what I do. But I am also here to do other things, and so I take the time to go within and ask the question, what is mine to do? What am I here to do? And I sit still in meditation and wait for the answer. And when the answer comes, I truly take the time and effort to say yes and to surrender to it. Because it is in the surrendering that the growth comes. It is in the surrendering that the opportunity to unfold my own greatness and bring my gift that is necessary for the planet, that's where it comes. And sometimes, I don't want to do the work. I'm like, what do you mean? I got to write? I have to transcribe? I have to edit it? I have to look at it? I have to work on it? I don't want to do that. That's maybe not my gift. Maybe my gift is something else. You know, recently I have been struggling through this idea that what is mine to do does involve this counseling on a deeper level, on a bigger level, on a wider scope. And I'm saying, no, that involves work. That means that I'm going to have to shift my life again. I'm going to have to change my bedtime so I can get enough rest because I'm now waking up at 4:26 every morning. I'm going to have to do all these things to say yes to my calling. And I'm like, no. And I'm struggling, right? No, maybe that's not for me. That's for someone else. No, Spirit, I'm sure that, you know, so-and-so over there can do this job. And in the moments of struggle, I created for myself my very own tailor-made dark night of the soul. Because I'm struggling against what it is that I'm called to do. And here's the thing. Once you know, you can't unknow. Once you're exposed, you can't be unexposed. Truth is truth is truth. And you can try to run from truth, but truth is going to catch you. Your purpose is going to catch up to you because guess what? It doesn't go anywhere. It's truth. It's absolute. So I'm standing in absolute truth and I'm struggling against it. So I'm going into this tailor-made dark night of the soul. Anger is building. Frustration is building. I'm exhausted all the time. I don't feel energetic. I don't feel like life is good. I'm lip servicing my life. And all of a sudden, I'm just too exhausted to struggle anymore. And I say, fine. I surrender. I'll do it. I'll show up in this way that you're asking me to show up. And I start to articulate, and here's where the universe meets you right where you are. I start to articulate the vision that's been coming through me for a very long time. I'm not done articulating, and manifestation is happening. People are calling, emailing, texting, yes, this is what we want. This is how we want you to show up for our community. Will you please come and do this? Can I work with you? And I'm like blown away because all I had to do was say yes, right? All we have to do is to say yes, and then to be willing to let go of the old ways. Letting go of the old ways means that I have to let go of people, places, things, behaviors that do not serve the highest vision of the divine for my life. I cannot play in other level vibration. I cannot play in a vibration that does not vibrate where I am. It's not lower, it's not higher, it's just different. And I cannot play in the place where it's different, because in the place where it's different does not serve my soul. So I have to watch who my playmates are. Because if my playmates are not high level in consciousness, if my playmates are not having high vibrational conversations, then I'm starting to spiral into low vibration with them. Because wherever I hang out, I am a demonstration of what my life is about. So when I'm in the centers and I'm talking to my friends and we're praying and we're talking about God and we're engaging in spirit and we're engaging in love and peaceful conversations and ways that we can make the world better, we create that energy and vibration around us, and it's up-leveling, and we're up-leveling into the place where we are meant to be. But you got to change the playmates that can't support the vision. You got to stop hanging out with the naysayers. You can't be with the people that are going to tell you, oh yeah, but that's not going to happen in our lifetime. Well, if not in our lifetimes, when? When will we have peace if we don't create peace now in our lives? When will we create global peace if we don't start with right here? When do we create real love and creative genius and beauty and art if we don't start now? There is no tomorrow. There is only a right now. There is no tomorrow. When you get to Monday, it will be right now. And it will not be tomorrow. You won't be, oh, hey, hello, I'm in tomorrow today. No, you're only in today and you're only in right now. So all you have is right now. You have to step into the awareness that right now is your story. And then you start to look with expectancy. You start to look with expectancy for good things to happen in your life. You start to say, I'm showing up, I'm saying yes, and then you start to expect peace. You start to expect love. And then you surround yourself with people who are like-minded, that are expecting peace. expecting love, expecting joy, expecting creativity, expecting prosperity, and you hang out in that vibration. And you have to be careful that your behaviors are supporting the idea that your life is the very life of God, that you are standing in the image and likeness of God, that you are expressed as greatness, that you are God itself. You have to stand in that awareness that there's no part of your being that exists outside of the presence of God, because God is ever present everywhere all the time. Once you stand in that awareness, you start to look from that awareness. You start to look from that place. And you start to live your life with joyful expectancy. You start to live your life with the idea that good things are going to happen. And everything that's happening right now is good. And here's the thing that is very important. And we do a lot of times in New Thought, we'll go to that place where if something that's happening in our lives is challenging, or something is happening in our lives that doesn't feel good, it's uncomfortable, the first place we go is, oh, where's your consciousness? You know, and the real deal is, everything is happening in the presence of God. So even in the discomfort, even in what is we call the uncomfortable existence, even in the place where it's painful, even in the place where there's sadness, God is still ever present there. We cannot live from a place where we think God, and we say and give lip service to God is all there is, except in these 5 things. It cannot be that God is all there is except when my heart is broken. It can't be that God is all there is except when he's not behaving the way I'd like him to. God has to always be all there is at all times in all things. And so when we start to expect good, even in the challenging experiences of our lives, we start to find good. We start to find opportunities to grow, opportunities to develop, opportunities to heal, because every experience is called forth for a purpose with a dynamic purpose. So if I've called it forth, I am saying there's something within me that needs to be healed. And it's just like in everything, and on a global level, if we have called it forth as human beings, because what is happening in the world around us, in your home, in your personal life, is all an expression of our consciousness and what we're calling forth to heal, to grow, to develop, to nurture, to have become better. And so things have to rise up to the surface so that they can be released. Things have to rise up to the surface so that we can nurture them and make a decision if this is what we want for our community. In our communities, is this what I want? Do I want love? Do I want peace? Do I want harmony? Do I want dissension? Do I want to not get along? Do I want to fight about what class we're going to teach? Or do I want us to create a way to be together in our community that serves the world? And then we stand in that place and we ask ourselves individually, what is my purpose? What am I really here to do? Because my purpose is not so that I can go to work, collect enough so that I can go out to pasture and end my days, or until my days end. That's not my purpose. My purpose is here to be a dynamic expression in the world. My purpose is to be part of this world. That's why I'm born into it. So we ask ourselves, what am I here for? What am I here to do? What is my unique gift and talent that I am here to bring? And then we bring it with every part of our beings. We activate it by first saying, yes, I am willing to be the expression of love. I am willing to be creative genius. I am willing to start that project. I am willing to teach that teaching. I'm willing to sing that song. I am willing to be the person that does this thing, that shifts this community into its greater yet to be. And then we want to know, how are we growing our community? How are we nurturing our community? What are we doing to have our community continue to grow, to make sure that it's here to nurture others who will come through the door. Thankfully, this community is here, so Nicole could come from Atlanta and say, hey, I want to go back to Atlanta and find a community like this where they're doing this thing. That's because the community is still here. But we have to know that our service to beloved community is to continue to nurture it and give it a way that it grows and remains, so that it is here for long beyond our own human incarnation, so that it's here to continue to be a changing vibrational center on the planet. We build our communities, we do it in our homes, we do it where we work, We do it where we live, everywhere we go. We walk in the world as expressions of love and light and divine truth. And we stand in it at all times, knowing that who we are is a perfect expression of God. And so I just want to thank you. I want to thank you for being present, to being a center, to remaining steadfast, to survival, to continue to be here. And I want to thank you for continuing to find ways to grow and maintain your community so you can be here when people come and drive an hour and a half to come here and fellowship and pray and be in spirit. That this place is here no matter what. So I give thanks for that, and I want to remind us all that each one of us has a role to play. Each one of us has something to do. Each one of us is here to continuously challenge ourselves to be our next level of our highest and best selves. We are here to grow. We're here to unfold. We're here to expand into more peace, more love, more joy, more creative genius, more beauty. And we're here to make this world a continuous better place. So I invite you now to turn within and to join me as we get still. I ask the practitioners to join me as we surround the room. And we lean into the awareness that there's only one power in presence. And each one of us today stands in that awareness, and each one of us today takes ownership and responsibility for our lives, for our roles. We take ownership for the way that we treat ourselves and the way that we treat others. We take ownership for our showing up in community. And we give thanks for this awareness that there is only one power, one presence, the power and presence of God Almighty, God all beauty, God all joy. It is all that is. It undergirds all things. It is back and behind all things. It is the life-supporting energy of everything that is. And we know absolutely that no thing has its existence outside of the power and presence of God. That there is no place on the planet where God is not. We know that where I am, God stands, and where each and every person in this congregation is, God is already there expressing through, in, and as them as their very lives. And so today I declare absolutely for everyone in this congregation and everyone that they come in contact with, that there is a ripple effect of love, of peace, of harmony, of community, of compassion, of joy, of kindness, of courage and faith that radiates through each and every person here as they step into their lives, challenging themselves to be more, to activate their own potential, standing in the place where they invite disturbance, invite change, invite God to express through, in, and as them, and they allow themselves to surrender to this truth. I know absolutely that each person standing here, sitting here, in the sound of my voice, ever hearing this, will know who and what they are, and will stand in their awareness, stand in the center of who they are, and continue to step into the light of their lives, showing up with their greatest expression of themselves. They challenge themselves to stand up, each and every person, stand in their own divinity, and be that loving expression of God. How grateful I am to be able to declare this truth for each person here, and for each person that they come in contact with, knowing that as we stand in unity and love, we give others permission to stand in unity and love. For this and so much more, I give thanks, and I release these words into the loving activity of God itself, knowing that it is already done. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. Peace and blessings.